here's Brody Brazil.
Kind of a side note to start off this video, when Oracle Park was built at the turn of the century, sure seems like they expected there to be a lot more splash hits. The counter went up with 3 digits, but only until last year when Lamont Wade in June finally got to 100 for the Giants did they need that 3rd digit. It's kind of too bad the Giants never had a left-handed, pull-heavy home run hitter to kick off and christen the ballpark. No, I know, but I mean, even with Barry Bonds, a lot of people thought Barry Bonds alone might get 100 splash hits. It's a short porch. The Cove isn't that far. Yeah, high fence, but again, just not as many splash hits as maybe anybody would have expected 25 years ago. Well, now we have another splash hit. We finally passed 100, but this one might come with more controversy than any other splash hit previously put in McCovey Cove. That's McCovey Cove Dave on the left. That's Heliot Ramos on the right. In fact, that's actually the swing where Ramos became the first right-handed hitter to ever put one in the Cove as a splash hit. That happened this past weekend, and McCovey Cove Dave is kind of at the center of this splash hit controversy. Now, Dave, by the way, will detail you here. I hope you're watching this video. I will give you my honest, heartfelt advice at the end of this presentation. But this is McCovey Cove Dave. Real name is Dave Edlund. He's gone to more than 730 games with his kayak out there in the San Francisco Bay. You can easily find him. I mean, there are others in vessels and boats and kayaks, but he's got the bright orange shirt. He's in the branded apparel. He does, I guess, his own merch. Does he sell those shirts and stuff? I don't know. But he's obviously marketed himself as an entity out there in McCovey Cove. And of the 100-plus splash hits, he has retrieved almost half of them. 40 splash hits. And you know what? 730 games, that's a lot of work and effort. And warm days, but I'm thinking about cold nights out there in McCovey Cove. That is a lot of dedication. He says he wants to reach 1,000 Cove games, and if he does it, he'll put on some type of celebration. So if you didn't know about McCovey Cove Dave, now you do. We'll detail more of his backstory and what's going on right now in just a second. Heliot Ramos was the Giants' first overall draft pick in 2017. I don't mean first overall in the draft. He was the Giants' first selection of the 2017 draft. Took him a little bit of time to get through the minor leagues. He debuted with the Giants in 2022, but this year, not even the first full season because it hasn't been start to finish, but first real crack at Major League Baseball. He's already played in more than 110 games this year. And as I mentioned before, this past weekend, he became the first right-handed batter to record a splash hit for the Giants at Oracle Park, which is amazing, right? All the others have been hit by lefties. The first right-handed batter to go oppo and put one in the Cove. All of this happened, by the way, on the same Sunday where before the game, the Giants held a very long and eloquent and very well put on celebration of life for Orlando Cepeda. It was also Roberto Clemente Day, September 15th around Major League Baseball, which is an annual tradition. So culturally for Heliot Ramos, already a huge day. In fact, he's wearing number 21 on his back on the jersey for this game. And to have this monumental first home run, milestone home run to be hit in that game, it's all very special for the Giants, for Heliot Ramos, and for the San Francisco fan base. So this home run comes with a little bit more weight and gravity. And this is what McCovey Cove Dave tells to SFGATE, the publication, quote, "Of all the home runs I've got, this is one of the ones that is most special for me." In fact, you can see he brought to the game that laminated sign. He's had that laminated sign for who knows how long, and he was ready to take that picture. Like, he didn't go home and print that up and come back. He already had that. He was waiting for this to happen. He's been out there for all this time. I'm sure he's got the other milestone cards out there. But that one was on his list, and it finally happened here in September of 2024. I'm going to start reading to you an article from SFGATE, which I will link to down below. They did a tremendous job in documenting this and kind of bringing the issue to the forefront here. Edlund did tell SFGATE that he'd entertain loaning Ramos's ball to the Giants or to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown to display, but long-term, oh yeah, here's the controversy. He's keeping the baseball. What's going to happen to the baseball is kind of the center of the controversy here. Not only has Edlund not spoken to the Giants over this ball, but he said he hasn't discussed a homer with the team in over a decade. And the article details, which you can read by clicking the link down in the details and the details section below, that things kind of got a little bit squirrely in one of his discussions in 2014. The team offered a bat and a ball for a baseball that he got, and he wanted a jersey. They didn't want to do that, and they've just kind of lost contact ever since. Quote, "I do enjoy it, but I've kind of earned it," Edlund said. He's talking about maybe the attention, the focus, the baseball that he got. Also, what he'll talk about here with the writers, he's kind of going back at them. Andrew Baggerly had quote tweeted something about Dave and basically called Dave a grifter and saying that he hopes Dave is enjoying the attention that he's created for himself. Edlund responds by saying, quote, "How many times do those writers respond to every Giants comment like I do? The reason why I'm so loved is because I'm very accessible. The fans know me personally. I've invested in them. I know them on a first-name basis," end quote. That's a pretty out there quote right there from McCovey Cove Dave. As for what it would take for Edlund to give a ball back to a player, like he told SFGATE last month, Edlund said he would give a home run ball back if it were a milestone homer, a round number like 200, for example, or a first career blast. He also said he'd eventually give the home run balls back to Giants he'd come to know and like. Naming Pablo Sandoval, Brandon Belt, or Hunter Pence as former Giants he might reach out to someday to see if they want any of their hits in his collection back. Ramos, however, has not, quote, earned getting the ball back from him yet, he said. We're going to have some takeaways at the end. Quote, "Those guys basically went out of their way to interact and give love to Giants fans, so they've earned those balls," Edlund said of Sandoval, Belt, and Pence. Heliot, this is his beginning season, and I hope he has a fantastic career. He could get this ball, but he has to earn it. He has to play 10 years for the Giants and become deeply loved. And when I pass away, then yeah. End quote. Again, wait for the takeaways at the end here. SFGATE asked Edlund to elaborate further on how Ramos could earn the baseball. Edlund said he's a, quote, big Ramos fan, end quote, but pointed towards top Giants prospect Bryce Eldridge, saying the two, Eldridge and Edlund, have become friendly since Eldridge was drafted in the first round in 2023. Quote, "Bryce, if I'm lucky enough to get his first splash hit, of course I'm going to give it to him, free of charge. But I don't know Heliot Ramos," Edlund said. He added, quote, "It's not that he's a bad guy, I just don't know him. He could earn that ball over time, but he has to reach out to me. Bryce follows me." Like on social media. Dave is on X and Instagram and maybe something else. "Does Heliot even know I exist?" End quote. Okay, the payoff of the video. Number one, I'm not doing this video, Dave, as a hit piece. I'm not doing this as a Kendrick Lamar-style diss track. That's not what this is about. Dave, I hope you see this video. I hope you understand me as a maybe sensible person, a citizen of the Bay Area, fan of baseball, all of the above, and I hope you just see this as advice. And maybe you'll look at me and say you're completely wrong, and I'm just not gonna listen to you, but I'm hoping to be sensible about this. I know there's been some hot takes here and there, some mic drop moments on social media. I'm not doing that to you. I just want to talk to you sensibly here, and I also want the audience to hear this too. I admire the hustle, like I said before. I know the grind of being around something day in, day out, and people appreciate that from you already. You don't have to go 10 steps above that and kind of hold on to baseballs, and that's your thing. I get it. People already admire the hustle. I do too. I understand why you're so passionate and connected to this, and you've kind of made this your thing. But I'm also here to say that gatekeeping is kind of a bad look. And if it was always your thing to keep every baseball and say, I'm holding on to all of them and that's just what I do, that's my thing. Okay, if I don't agree with that, at least that's your thing. You've established that from the start. But for you to say, well, I hang on to these baseballs, but I'll give those to you because I like you and you know me and you follow me on social media, we got to get past that. We got to get past that's a very early 2010s thing. Could you follow me on social media? That's how I know you like me. First off, look, I'm somebody who's in this realm too and I'll get to the supporting character versus star of the movie thing in a second. It doesn't matter who follows you. It doesn't mean they necessarily like you or love you. It's just what people do on social media. Following people is not a thing. Also this, for as much as I like a lot of athletes that I cover and I get to know them a little bit, I'm not like friends with them, going over their houses and going on vacations with them. You don't really know these people to be judging them and saying, well, I know them and I like it. It's just that you like them. I don't know that it's always a two-way street like all of us expect. Anyway, that's that. The other part about this is, and Dave has attached himself to being kind of an experience of a Giants game. He's out there in the Cove, and if one's hit and the ball lands and then you see all the kayaks start to converge, you know he's probably going to grab one of those baseballs. Like, he's going to make a great run at it. He knows what he's doing out there. But in the same way that McCovey Cove Dave is a supporting character of a Giants game, in the same way that a pregame show host or a postgame show host is a supporting character of bringing you the broadcast and the entertainment presentation, those are all supporting character situations, right? I'm saying I get this because I was in my previous, current, almost ended job. You're a supporting character of the situation, of the movie. You're not the star of the movie, and I feel like in this case, you're kind of trying to be the star of the movie. But I want to end this video on a positive note, because again, if this is advice here at the very end, that's what I want to give. You could still make this right. There's been some back and forth. There's been some realization here. I think there's been a lot of controversy. There's probably been a lot of backlash towards Dave. This isn't over yet, and I'm not saying you have to give up all the baseballs. You should reach out to Heliot Ramos. You can, if you have the connections with the Giants, I mean, do they have to come to you and beg all the time? And I get it, there's a give and take, and maybe you've negotiated with them before and they didn't give you exactly what you wanted, but I mean, I'm also not saying you need to have the perfect relationship with them either, but if you really care about the individuals and you really care about the players, go right to the player, figure it out. If you've got those connections, or if somebody in the media can help you out, let them or us know. We'll help you out. I could get you straight to Heliot Ramos if you want. I promise you I could. I don't know Heliot, but I know some people that know some people. But you can still make this right. It's not over yet. Again, for all the maybe heat and controversy you're taking, it doesn't have to end like this. But this video has to end like this. I don't know. This was different. I thought this was timely. It was a topic I'm a little passionate about. This kind of feels like one of those unwritten rules of baseball. Like, if you're an adult and you catch a foul ball and there's like 3 kids sitting next to you, give it to one of the kids, right? This is not something that should have to be a controversy. Like, it seems like it's pretty simple. And I don't want to get into the whole comparisons. I know some people are saying this is Zach Hampel-esque. That's a totally separate situation and story. Kind of similar, but separate. But anyway, for McCovey Cove Dave, just uphold your status, uphold what people like about you. Do the right thing in this situation. There's still time. You've made it here to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That helps me, this video, and this channel. I would like that, but I would love it even more if you just take one quick second, make sure down there right now that you are subscribed to this channel. That way I definitely get to see you back here next time.